way more than I do about it.
We're live. It's the website One Meeting. We have Nico and Ben and Sam. And so we talked about, focusing on this editor thing today. We've got various kind of updates. I guess that let's just get them down in black and white. Here we go. Yeah, so here we are, website one. And Aditya said, "Hey, Aditya, good to see you." So I was just going to mention, so we moved the meeting to Monday, hopefully to allow more people to come. I think with different people, Ose, Aaron, and maybe another person who my brain is blanking. I think it was Gail, and we had some of them attend. I haven't heard from Ose and Gail recently. Aaron has now cancelled his premium face-to-face membership and didn't pair with me the other day. So I think maybe we won't be seeing him again. I don't know. It sort of highlights the challenge of working in, a volunteer framework. Sometimes, you make accommodations for people who are just, who say like, oh yeah, we could come to the meeting on a Monday. And then ultimately, you move things around and it doesn't really go very far. But so, that's where we are with that. Great to see everybody that we have here. What else is happening? Other really exciting thing is, of course, that Nico now has a green upgrade to Rails 5. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Which is very exciting.
That was quite a process, huh?
Yeah. Yep. It was I think that it solved the problem Saturday night, Friday night. I don't remember. It was like 1 p.m. No, when 1 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the best work gets done.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that extra space, don't you? I've run the full suite of tests on my machine locally, and it's looking good. I think there's some other things you wanted me to check on your PR that I will hopefully get around to at some point. So that feeds into where we are with the editor, something to look at. Ben, you reviewed that pull request, didn't you? And we then we merged Marion, Sam, PR. So that, I guess we have a thing there where it's done part of the work. It's maybe closed the ticket, but actually it hasn't. The ticket isn't completed yet. So
it sort of created the new thing in the database that we have verified is there, and now we have to actually use it to provide the new functionality that we want.
That's right. And I think it's annoying thing. I kind of want the ticket reopened in order to sort that. Yeah. Anyway, I guess rather than doing a hash of all these different things, partly to make progress on it, we sort of said we'd focus on the editor. I just want to see here. Oh, don't do that. What have you done? What? Just reloading the thing completely. I don't know. Yeah. Aditya, by the way, Aditya, Ben, Nico, Ben, Aditya, he's got a couple of years experience programming Rails, interested in getting involved with open source, wants to try and get set up with the old website one. And I think yep. You're there, Aditya, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good show. So we've got this. I got to bring this private events for premium members. I brought this back. I hope that means I've reopened that issue there. So that would be the one potentially that you might be interested in working on going forward, Ben. But let's see. So, bing bong bing. We haven't seen Bill recently, have we? I think is his pull request there ready to be merged in?
I don't remember seeing that.
It's like questions about this code coverage stuff. It will be so lovely if we could get all that fixed. Anyway, so I think I must get in there and have a look at that. Okay. So many different things to do. the test. All right. So what's going on? So Aditya, when you joined the website one channel, you should have got like a little introduction from me, and there's some links to how to get set up and so on. So if you follow all the instructions there, you should be able to get set up with the projects. Anything else that we need to mention? Yeah, so I think that's the focus today, and on the editor. So let's jump in and just remind ourselves of what the editor is. So we've got the about page or something. I don't know. We've got the editor that. Oh gosh, go on. It's about link there. About us. So we've got a variety of static pages through the site, including things like this is the About Us page, and then we've got other stuff like we've got the individual projects have their own. Like looking at this, there's a DevOps document for local support. Something gone horribly wrong there. How would that go wrong? Yeah, there's another really weird thing. Like for some reason, when we deploy now, the migrations don't get automatically run, which is very strange to understand. I was just looking at that document the other minute. What's happened there? Goodness me!
Is it clear where that's configured in when you set up the deployments?
Yeah, it just Semaphore just used to do it automatically. I mean, we could dig into that separately. That's interesting. There is that suddenly we're getting 500 errors on production there on something that was working this morning.
Oh no!
Oh gosh, that's not good. I guess I will just have a quick.
Yeah, we can switch to check out that.
I need to demo the stuff. So if I do Heroku logs -t -n1500 -r production. Gosh, what's happened there? But basically, there's a thing called the Mercury internal server error there. What's this? Processing by no implicit conversion of nil into the Discus helper. Oh, good God. So we've got, I don't know if we can even, let's see if we can go, is staging, I don't know, did you shut them all down?
Yes.
Yes. So let's just bring up the staging server so we can, very well done, shutting them down, that saves us money. Let's bring up the staging server. So actually a lot of these pages, well, so not these pages, but the other pages in the system, we have the Discus commenting system on there that basically is not used by anybody anymore, as far as I can tell. There was a point at which it was very popular. I mean, but it looks very much like the Discus whatever has just changed and gone offline. We need to change this is the staging server. Let's turn it on. I imagine we will see the same thing failing on the staging server. But yeah, I would say from that, basically by the look of the fact that every of these document errors, I mean, I hate this error message as well. It just makes like, anyway. But so we see here, yeah, basically we can see that precisely in this Discus helper in, that's, line 16.
Yeah.
And I guess, oh gosh, and I've got RubyMine. No. So, come on, you.
Clippers, Discus, Clipper, line 16.
So while that's all coming up, RubyMine have gone, we just lost our. I have got like a new 1-month license for RubyMine.
The line breaking.
Oh gosh.
What is that, Nico?
That is the line that is breaking. I will share my screen.
Secret T, yeah.
Sorry, it's taking me a while to bring up the code for that.
One. So it's saying, what it was saying? That
so that was, it was helpers.
Maybe this is Neil settings.discuss.
Let's have a
secret key
16. Let's look at the error again. The error. Okay, come on, error, come back here. That's the thing with running it tracking now. It's there's no implicit conversion of nil into string. Discus helper RB16 hex digest. This is the specific error there. Where's the, come on, brain. Go back to the code. Yeah, I mean, so we can quickly check the settings of that secret key. I can like log into Heroku, the Rails console, and just run that. I'd be very surprised if the settings had changed. Heroku run Rails console -r production. Holy moly. No, no, Heroku, why is that? Oh, it's put me in a different, oh gosh, CD website 1. Oh. But so, either which way, Mercury is a Rails kind of engine plugin that provides a mechanism for us to edit pages in a kind of wiki-like style throughout the site. And it's used both for project maintainers to edit the pages that are associated with their projects. Although, you know, I think most people don't really bother to maintain those things, although it gets used occasionally. I would love it if all, you know, it was pulling in that documentation from GitHub myself. But it's also the mechanism we have for editing, you know, all of the static pages throughout the site. And so it's sort of important in that sense if we want to make changes to, you know, the About Us page or the pricing page or any of these sorts of things, the Getting Started pages. Not that all of those pages couldn't be migrated to be stored, you know, like in the repo, and then that we would make changes to them via pull requests. Certainly, you know, recently we don't seem to need to make lots of things. Now, interestingly there, actually, so I've just done the settings Discus secret key, and it is coming back as nil, which is, it's very strange, because I was looking at this very page this morning. Does it sort of imply that the Discus key got removed since this morning?
How could that have happened?
Quite.
I think that is maybe related to the problem that we had with what was the station. It was failing when we were trying to visit the member profile. You remember?
Yeah, well, so we were having a problem with the last deploy, which was that, yeah, there was like a privileged user setting was not.
And it was coming from settings also?
Well, yeah, so, well, that's also, it's like an environment variable, and then settings is pulling it.
Yeah. Okay,
It's interesting. I'm just looking at the website production settings, and there's no, I don't see the Discus key being set there. It's interesting if we just so on staging, we could see if we experience the same problem. We can navigate through to local support and look at an individual document, and there it's working. So that's very strange. So that, I wonder if that means that there was just, maybe I did it when I was adjusting those settings, but that one or other of us accidentally deleted the Discus key from production.
But
could you just copy it from staging and see if that fixes it?
Well, that's what I'm just going to go and look and see if we've got. So I've just pulled out. The interesting thing is I don't see in our settings any mention of, either in staging or production, neither of them seem to mention there's no Discus key being set there. If I jump to, it won't even let me jump to it. So no, that's the whole reason I use this monkey, what have you. But if we go and look here, we've got, so Discus, yeah, there's a Discus short name, there's a Discus API key and secret key. They're both, it's trying to pull both of them from but so that's really weird. I mean, I'm looking at the staging settings here.
Yes.
And there are no Discus keys that I can see at all. And yet staging appears to be working here. And let's see, is the Discus thing at the bottom? Yep, there is actually the Discus all being loaded.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's not working on production.
Well, you didn't go to the same. I mean,
I think I can go. I think I can go to the same. Well, it's a good sanity check.
I mean, it's probably not that, but I mean that would be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
okay.
We're getting the error. I mean, I guess there's maybe something. Like it seems like that would make it look like we've been getting away with not having the Discus API key and secret key set for a long time. I don't know if there's some other difference. Like we've also got in here. Message and timestamp.
Could be something about what's returned from those two things, or from the call to.
Conceivably, I mean, the thing interesting here is like message is, I guess, is a full encoding of that data. Oh gosh, yeah, I don't know. That's really odd that I don't see our Discus keys in any of the. I don't know. That's really weird.
Well, where precisely are they supposed to go?
Well, so in
.env thing, right?
No, well, I mean, conceivably, I've never put them in that .env. I mean, you don't need them running locally. Things like this env, Heroku has a full framework for specifying environment variables.
Yeah.
And so things like our GitHub keys and our Google keys and Slack keys and Twitter keys and everything are all in there, and I can see all of those. All happily there. It's just kind of bizarre. So I guess the thing is, do we spend any more time looking at that? Do we try and come back to see and the only place that's referenced like that is in the production.yaml.
I have one question. When you say you can see the ones for GitHub and all that stuff, if you look at the Heroku key list, you can't see the Discus? That is not visible?
Yeah, I mean,
sort of unique in that it's not visible?
It should be something like this in Heroku.
Yeah, I mean, basically that I can see things like, for example, I've got privileged users, I've got Twitter consumer key, I've got Twitter consumer secret, all this, that, and stuff. I've got no mention of
Discus
API key.
Now, is that state of affairs exactly the same on the staging server too, or it seems to actually work?
Exactly. As far as I can tell, it's exactly the same there. I mean,
so where is it failing?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing here is I do have a Discus account. I don't know that I have. I wonder if I can get from it just some if I can just get those. I guess I've got like a personal Disqus account, which is maybe separate from the Agile Ventures Disqus account. I just like get Disqus. I mean, I guess the thing to do actually is just
sort of retell Heroku about it, since it's claiming not to know.
Well, the other thing is what I can do is staging seems to be working. So I could go into what I can do is I can Heroku run Rails C -R staging, and I could go and ask the question that I just did on production of what it thinks settings Disqus secret key is on.
Well, that's kind of what I meant when I asked about, is it the same state of affairs on staging? Like, can you actually look? That's, yeah, all right, yeah.
Well, there's two different things. I mean, there's looking in the Heroku console where I can see that they are identical, but then there's looking in the Rails console. So,
okay.
but yeah, I mean, it's bizarre. Oh. Yeah, so, but also from the Rails console, the settings Disqus secret key is nil. This is
on production.
This is staging and on production.
On staging and production, that's the key.
This returns nil.
And if you say settings, GitHub, for example, secret key, it'll return.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just do that. You know,
don't show the
world keys, but I can get, for example, like there's Twitter, and I'll get consumer key, and I'll do that. Over here, Twitter dots thing. Yeah, and that comes back perfectly normally on staging and on production.
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, that's a real teaser of a production system error. And at the moment, we've got staging and production are on the same code bases, I think, as far as I can tell. Let's just check what commit they're on. Yep, they're both on the same commit. So I've no particular idea why.
So weird that it works differently. Maybe is it some caching issue, perhaps?
Conceivably. I mean, maybe I sort of assume what's happened is that maybe Disqus has changed something. Like,
and staging somehow hasn't seen that yet.
Yeah, or there's some kind of. Yeah, I mean, I don't even really know. I mean, I don't even really know what this is all doing.
Are they checking characteristics of the identity of the entity that's trying to connect to Disqus, and that you've told it about the staging thing sometime in the past?
I mean, not obviously so here. I mean, I guess it's what's the word? I mean, the fact. I mean, it's setting up a script here that will then request. So presumably, it will know where it's coming from, and yeah, I mean, I think the difficulty will be that. For Disqus, like presumably at some point the person who was implementing this stuff, kind of sorted out our API keys for us through some account. But what username and so on that is associated with, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, I'm there is like Disqus applications. But I think my existing Disqus account is just one from. It's not my personal Disqus account is not associated with the overall. I mean, I guess the other thing to do is possibly to we do actually have now we've got like the full history of all the website one everything. I guess one thing to do is to search our entire. Slack instance for any mention of the Disqus API key, and see if it was ever handed around in any channel by anybody.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I can see. I can see the commits going forward for, we've got like, that's interesting. There's like a commit that says that API keys were added for production. Ah, okay. That's interesting. It looks like, okay, here you go. Here they are.
Okay.
So it looks like we've actually got them. Well, we've got, I guess, dev keys there.
Yes.
Committed to the repo.
Oh, well, that's, you're not supposed to do that, right?
No. Well, I mean, I think conceivably, if they're supposed to be,
but if they are,
if they're to like a sort of, I mean, yeah, you're certainly not supposed to do that generally. Although there are certain keys which, are, like supposedly less one or other. I mean, what I could try and do here, just to make production work again, is I could set in the absence of having, I guess we've got this, is like we've got settings there, and production will then override those local settings with this. But so in the absence of having those, I can just try and make them on. So discuss API key, pop that in there. We want the secret key. I mean, this may cause us to lose our Disqus stuff on production, but I don't care about that anymore. Okay, so I've just added Disqus API key and secret key on production with those two, and that should cause the server to restart. And then at the very least, that thing should not be nil. And
maybe a different error, but maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. I'd love to. Oh gosh.
So what's the difference between dev keys and just keys?
Well, I presume that the dev key, that's like that often people providing API stuff. There you go. Look, that works there.
Yeah.
It will.
Is it there at the bottom?
It'll hit like a testing instance, so you can actually there.
There it is.
And in fact, yeah, the actually that seems like maybe it's like some API providers will give you particular, like Stripe gives you test keys that don't touch any kind of anything important, and you can actually still see what they do on the server side and so on. Anyway, all of that kerfuffle leads me to be able to show you that we have buttons like this.
Yeah.
So this is then the Mercury editor.
Yep.
And we've set it up now so that you could imprint in the past, anybody could edit the about page. Then there's like a edit button that appears here. But since we had occasionally a little bit of trouble with that, people accidentally editing the getting started pages, we've removed that for the time being. But so this is Mercury Editor, and Mercury Editor was in principle blocking us from upgrading to Rails 5. So thanks to Nico, that's now fixed.
So it's not a block anymore.
It's not a block on Rails 5. It's a different kind of block, because what it also does is that as well as being sort of a bit of an irritating thing to edit and have to manage the CSS, and also that it's not being maintained or upgraded or anything. In particular, we can't add any JavaScript to things like the about page. This is more important in other things, like, for example, in the premium sign-up pages, where we might like to add special like Google Analytics tracking tokens and things, and we can't do that in these pages with Mercury.
Oh,
because the Mercury, if we try and add some JavaScript, Mercury strips out the JavaScript. So we had been talking about upgrading to
Medium,
or well, switching over to Medium as an alternative. And Matt and I started on that, and we got some of it working. And so let's go and have a look-see. Yeah, replace Mercury Editor with Medium Editor for Rails. The other thing is that the Mercury editor seems to be very highly involved in some of our intermittent test failures. So I was really excited about the idea of being able to pull out the Mercury editor, get rid of it, and work with something, you know, a bit nicer. Where this pull request had got to, as you can see, we've got the medium editor Rails gem is pulled in. And then, so we have got it set up here so that the medium editor there is sort of editable. And then, so basically we're setting up the methods to allow the editing of these pages via the medium editor instead of the Mercury editor, if that makes sense.
So the idea is to have them both running eventually, and then start removing the Mercury editor. Well,
I mean, as soon as we get the medium editor running, we would just remove the Mercury editor. We would, you know, we'd switch it off straight away. Absolutely. If I check out this, git stash.
Now I wonder, is there a danger of having them clash? Wouldn't it be? Did the branch remove the medium Mercury editor first and then start adding them, or is that?
Conceivably, I mean, you know, I mean, I think that the first thing is that we would need to we need to prove that the medium editor can do the job that we want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before we would worry about other things like that. The Rails, I want the server just run like that. So the interesting thing about the Rails the medium editor gem, I mean, so everybody's familiar with Medium.
Yeah.
Right, as a blogging system. And so they have this whole editing malarkey. Let's go and see, can we find, and I know, I want to find like all the drafts that have come in from exciting people like Nico. I don't know if I initially find them there, but so that we've got a test thing there. So let's go that. But so you have this thing where you can just start typing, and then you can kind of click it and get. So I think they have a really nice, smooth editing interface, and you get this option to like add stuff. Like if you want to add an image, it's done from here, and it's just beautiful. Anyway,
right. But including JavaScript, which is kind of one of the things, right? That Mercury couldn't do.
Well, Mercury explicitly strips out JavaScript in order as a safety feature.
Sure.
Right, which we don't particularly. I mean, you know, conceivably we could be trying to hack away at Mercury to change it so that it did what we wanted. Where am I even going now? I want to go to the medium editor Rails gem. Medium editor Rails gem. But this, no, which is the one? I guess medium editor Rails. I think that's the one. You know, so the medium editor for Rails is far less kind of like one-stop shop engine. Like, so the Mercury editor kind of like takes over the page and, you know, totally changes the interface and so on. Whereas this medium editor Rails is just like kind of like a plugin, and then you sort of, you know, I don't know if did we even actually manage to get it working. Let's have a look at, and it's not the same thing as this one, right? Like Medium is a private company; they have their own thing. This one is this Medium editor is inspired by the people who, you know, did this one.
Oh, okay.
But the, you know, I don't know if the Medium editor here, as we set up, what it will do with JavaScript or editing or whatever. I'm just kind of thinking, yeah, since it's like a more recently maintained thing, you know, we'll be able to do what we want with it. Even just to get like a nicer editing experience, I was thinking that it might be a win. And at the time we thought it's a Rails 5 block. So let's, you know, it's a good opportunity. Of course, then that takes a huge amount of time to start up the thing on my. But I think the particular reason why I wanted to focus on this is that Nico, you were saying, having looked at the pull request and so on. Like it was just like not clear to you what the next step was, or what anything was.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of different stuff we need to determine about this, or a few different things anyway.
Well, I mean, I'd say even, like even if it didn't, like even if we found that it was automatically stripping JavaScript as well, it would still, from my point of view, be a usability improvement to move from Mercury to Medium. Because like Mercury is like very explicitly not being maintained. I mean, it's like an old dead project as far as I can see. And I've never known anybody to find the interface to be intuitive. And it's whereas I think that the Medium editor has a much stronger call to it being a, intuitive interface. So if we then drop in here, so this is now, I don't know if we've even pulled it in for
this is the branch and it's running.
This is another branch and it's running. I don't even remember how far we particularly got with it. I don't know if we added it to, well, probably better for me to look at, let's go to the about page here. Oh gosh. And so I would need to make sure, in order to make this page editable, I would need to go and find that particular setting that we have, which is edit static pages. I would need to rerun this on a set that equal to true there. Look at we've got the find the code again. That I don't care about right now. Here we go. Yeah, so what we've got here, right? So static pages show, in principle, this would be, so you can see that the switch over here, right, is that the edit button, which is this, would basically initially go to the Mercury edit path, and we've then swapped it over to a static page edit path. Mercury provides all of the controller actions and so on to like manage everything, but the Medium editor doesn't do that. It provides the editing, but then in terms of like the controller actions, we have to work that out ourselves. So you can see edit and update set up there. So I think we've got this that it will go into editing mode, but that it will not yet actually allow you to save and update the page.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yep.
So we're running there. I want to go back over here. Let's reload the about page, which now then it takes another 15 minutes. For some reason, it always takes so long to start up on my machine. Like there's like a whole series of timeout. Oh, there we go. Right. So this is when we have it in the mode now, we can make this editable. So this is on the branch. And it's thinking, I mean, like the branch has been up. Oh, there we go. Okay. And it's not working at the time. We've got undefined method grab body for class somewhere in something. So what's that? That's static pages. I have no idea. So, I mean, I think this branch was working, at least partially working at some point, but I guess it's been like updated to develop like about 16 times since.
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah. So, oh gosh. I hate these errors. Like we've got undefined method grab body for something class. And
I think they'd be able to resolve that class name.
You'd hope, wouldn't you? I guess we can see, if I click on here, will it show me that static pleasures controller? I'm just trying to look at some point in the stack trace that is our own code. Oh gosh. So what have we got coming through the Puma server?
Who is trying to call this grab body method?
I do not know.
Maybe it's some of that Medium stuff that expects that. It seems unlikely.
Well, I think the only Medium stuff that we've added is stuff on the JavaScript side.
Oh, okay.
as far as I know. Gosh.
Interesting. All right, let's see here.
I mean, we've got this static pages control. I mean, I can't immediately see it. And this is a stack trace going to, I find it difficult to actually look at in there. Let's have a look here. We have got, right, it's telling us about an exception email. Yeah. So, I mean, like, the next, I mean, really this pull request, this branch, is a spike to see if we can get the medium editor working. And we can see at the moment it's clearly not working. So the trick would be, you know, what do we do there? We can just look through the different things we've got. We've got these requirements from this, and then using medium editor with Rails. Yeah, I don't know. What can I do here? I guess I'm just tempted to bundle on here to check that we've got all the bits and pieces. I guess we can step through. Like, I presume it wouldn't. I thought I did be Rails exec before, so I would have thought that it would not run if I hadn't got the latest. It says it's all right there. Okay, so we can look through. So we've got the gem medium editor Rails. So we've got gem file, medium. So we've got the gem in there. Then it's asking us to put require medium editor into the JavaScript's application.js. So we can go and have a look at our assets. JavaScript's application.js, Control F, medium. Interesting, I'm not seeing that in there. This would be that, is that because it's, that's interesting.
It's not there.
Yeah, find and path, medium. Okay, so we've got it here. Yeah. We're requiring the medium editor just on static pages JS. Fair enough. I mean, we could try pulling it out into application.js. We're not getting a JavaScript error per se. So then there's the style sheets. That wouldn't cause this error, but we've got this in a static pages JS. This is where we've got the medium editor and this, that, and the other. Fair enough. All right. And then we've got so style sheets application.css. Yeah, so we're doing import medium editor, which I guess I presume is the correct setup there. I don't know. And then, so you need to initialize medium with any selector of div. For example, this div class editable, and then tell it to work on editable. So on the static pages here, we're telling it to work on editable. This should all run once the page loads. Type your text, hide on click. So you can see here we're like, I mean, like ultimately, should the placeholder be the existing text? I'm not sure. And then so the place that we've got this trying to work is static pages. I guess we're on the edit page. And so, yeah, we've got here like static page body, class editable, what have you. And yeah, so you can see our editable class. So this problem must be somehow related to what's going on. We've got our controller, static pages. So there's like, we were able to show the page. Yes. And so now we've stepped through this edit. And So it's gone to get the page. We've got into edit here. I mean, I guess one thing I could do is I could just put a bybug into this point, which I can do like, go on, and see how much of it we can get to. I've done that. Let's go back and come over here to this where was it? Oh no, it's giving me a weird thing. Okay, so this is, we're trying to edit the About Us page. It's loading that up again. There, no, it seems to have hit that error even before it's got to there in the page. I guess the other thing I could do here is we could put bybug in there. And reload that again. So you can see, I mean, this is you know, a sticky thing if people want to get their teeth into trying to work out how the Medium Editor Rails. I mean, we've got the Medium Editor package, which is a JavaScript package. We've got the Medium Editor Rails gem, which shows us how to plug it together. But unlike the Mercury engine, which is this like fully featured engine, which will have like paths for doing saving and updating and everything and so on, you know, the Medium Editor is like it. So we've got here, so we can do next. We're able to get the page and the ancestry, and so then it's going to go through the render sequence.
Grab body.
Grab body. I mean, I guess do a quick search for undefined method grab body. Not coming up with anything in Google. I don't know. I mean, if I assume now, if I just continue, it's gonna.
If you try to find that method.
Look, we've got a backtrace there telling us that it's on line 22 of edits.
Yep.
Yeah. Here we go. So static pages, edit, line 22. Oh, look, there's grab body being called for. So, goodness me. So we've got a thing here, but if the user is signed in, this is like for creating the edit link. So that's what I clicked on previously. What about this? Static page update path. What is this grab body? Body, grab body.
I was kind of looking for that, and I didn't see it anywhere. What's the name of this branch?
This particular branch is it is.
Is it the 1756 Medium Editor?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So I think this is interesting, isn't it? We've got this grab body thing here. I'm thinking like, is that some sort of is that in that context there? That should be that's like a helper method, right? That's like a Ruby. That's, you know, we're in a Ruby context there. That makes it seem like. So then the interesting thing, is like searching the entire system for this, grab body is only mentioned
there
at that point there. That would imply that somehow that's like gem we've mixed in, or something that would do that. Weird. So that now clearly, I think this when we view the page, normally that's kind of visible there. I guess is the problem that so we've got, would it implicate like we've got show. So like that code presumably all works when we do the show page. Like if we go back over in here and we just go back to About Us, I think we saw before, yeah, like this link here, if we do inspect on that, this here, I think, let's see, page side panel, user signed in, that's this link. So this grab body, so we've got static page update path is in there. Like that's
in edit HTML.
Yeah. Like this href, that's what's been generated. About Us edit has been grabbed from this. And then so now when we click the button and it's going to /edit, for some reason in the context of, okay, I think I know what it is. Well, no, maybe not. But like, maybe show and edit are being treated differently somehow. Do you know what I mean? Like here we've got before filter, and I mean that's an immediate difference there. That edit and show are. I mean, I could just slip edit in there. I mean, maybe edit should be authenticated, but then we go here. I think I've got it on a bybug hook in here, so we'll continue from there. But yeah, we get another, yeah. So for some reason, like that grab body, which is perfectly happy when we do our show, is not happy when we do our edit. Even though these are otherwise identical methods. I mean, I think this has been just copied over, right?
Well, I don't know, because I don't think it uses, I think that I'm seeing that the only place that grab body function is being called is in the custom CSS thing that has the edit link label.
Oh, that's true. Wait a sec. But so, okay, that's a good point. But so if we go into the views, right, and we have show, okay.
Yeah, see, it's not there.
Okay, so, and in fact, yeah, there's an argument to say, why would we even have the, okay, so this is trying now to be the static page update path, static page edit path. Yeah, I mean, I guess, right, you're absolutely right. So, I mean, you know, we could just say, like, maybe if that's like random, ridiculous code that's not even doing it. Maybe that was just like an experiment that Matt was doing that is completely irrelevant. So we could just like remove that.
Shooting from the hip a bit, isn't it?
Sorry, say again?
Is that shooting from the hip a bit? I mean, or could...
Well...
Like, we need to return something that thinks it's a body there.
Do we?
I guess
I mean, this...
slug... I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even...
I mean, maybe like grab body was something they were intending to write, but I mean, this static page update path, I mean, I don't know why it would necessarily... I mean, for our purposes here, like, I'd just like to see if the editor works at all. And then there's a separate question of being able to effectively, I guess, yeah, right. So this one here in edit, this is supposed to be the save button.
Yeah. I mean, static page update path has to take those two arguments, right?
Does it? I guess. Right. Well, as
maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess. I mean, maybe ultimately this can't actually be like a link thing, particularly. So now here, I mean, it's saying like I mean, it's saying like there isn't undefined method static page update path. Like even with the body. So we've got the static pages controller. We've got an update thing there. It's the routes that would determine whether we actually had that path or not. And so let's have a look at static. Have we mentioned static pages in here at all? Static pages. Right. So at the moment, there is no update path. I mean, we can see here the update one has been set for Mercury.
But that shouldn't be giving us the errors that were, well.
Well, I think,
yes.
Yeah, so here at least this gives us, I mean, this error that we're getting now here, that it doesn't have static page update path, that corresponds. There we go. Here we go. Right. So now, look, the editor, it works. It works.
That's the medium editor.
That's the medium editor. Sort of.
There we are. So I'm sorry. What did you change?
So what I changed was, I mean, I removed the grab body
call
because that's basically it's like not being implemented, and I just replaced it with a for the time being. And having done that, it fell back to another error, which is that the static page update path doesn't exist. So I went into the routes file and I added just a path.
Okay.
So that wouldn't fail. So that gets us. So I think this is. So there's by a rather long-winded route. We see that we've got a version of the medium editor working. We can see from this, it's not quite as slick as the one that the medium editor that people have. You could almost argue here that this is going to be people that are not going to realize they can edit it. You know, it's like, oh, yeah. But
you have pressed the edit button, and that is
and
what
it would change it. And we can, you know, do this and that. So the editor does work. But so I think the big missing thing here is now we have to hook it up so that when we click save, the contents is passed back through and correctly saved. You know, and again, this is still a spike. Having got that to work, there would then be the question of, can we write tests for all of this and remove all the Mercury editor tests and so on? But so, Nico, does that answer the question of kind of like what this is and what the next step is and stuff?
For example, are we going to we pretend to use it in time, or
your audio is really breaking up, and so I can't really hear what you're saying. I don't know if we want to shut down your video, Nico.
With this pull request, it wasn't clear for me.
Oops.
How are you going to manage that?
Sorry, you're going to with this pull.
Now, can you hear me?
It's still behaving that way.
You had it. It's come up time for the AV community meeting, which I kind of need to run now. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you can ask any questions in the website one thing there. But yeah, I think we need to wrap up for today. Yeah, good stuff. This is like stop it breaking. Git push origin 175. So I'll just put up my changes there that at least so now people can pull on this branch and in principle see the editor working. Note that you know, in order to do, you know, you might want to if you want to just do it on like the about us page or what have you. Oh, I lost it. Yeah, just like run it with edit static pages set to true. Makes it an easy way to do that. I mean, but Ben, if you want to carry it, you know, feel free to like hack on this with Nico and or you know that other thing we talked about, which was the oh gosh, my brain. What's it called? It's the private events thing.
The private, yeah.
If the next step is you know, something you're like excited to move on to, then I think is there any clarity on that? It's like we've got it so that you can set those things. Yeah, we now have to
just not using it. Yeah, it's actually pretty straightforward set of tasks, I think. But if I have any questions, I'll.
All right, great stuff. I'll just pop that. All right. Well, I think we got to the bottom of some things today. Thanks so much.
We're not grabbing body anymore, which just turned out to be a bad thing to do.
Indeed. Well, yes, absolutely.
Look at the news,
You know that it's don't
right.
grab. You need to ask first, and you have to say no.
Careers. Right. Okay.
Great stuff. Take care.
Yep.
See you again next week. Bye for now.